My name is Steve. I'm a Master Performance Coach here at Absolute Health and Performance. If you came in and did your initial consultation, you sat down with me and said you wanted to learn how to do Olympic weightlifting, there'd be a few prerequisites we'd go through first to make sure that you're at a stage where you can learn to Olympic weightlift. It's not just something you can sort of walk in and do straight off the bat if you've not any prior gym experience. The number one thing we would get them, we're ticking off basically, they know how to back squat, they know how to front squat, they know how to do all that sort of stuff. The first thing we'd look at is we go from sort of a top-down approach. Most people can pull a barbell up quite high, so we don't need to worry too much about the pull to start with. What we need to worry about is their catch or their receiving position, so having the barbell above their head. So if we're talking specifically about the snatch. So what we would look at first with Caelan is, can he actually hold a barbell over his head in a snatch or wide grip? Okay mate, so let's pick up the barbell. I want you to put it on in a back rack for me, so just over like you were going to do a back squat for me. And what we want to do now is, you see where these lines are on the bar, we want to take a nice wide grip. We want you to make sure your elbows are pointing down towards the ground, nice shoulder width stance, that's it. And then you're just going to press the barbell up above your head and hold it there for me. That's it. So you can see here, he's got good shoulder strength. He's got no issues stabilising a bar above his head here. So the next thing we would do is look at his ability to perform an overhead squat. If we're going to get under a barbell and catch it, we need to be able to show we have that mobility and that range to be able to do that. So what I'm going to get you to do now for me, Caelan, is go into a squat stance for me, so a little bit wider with your toes externally rotated, and then looking forwards for me, keeping the bar over the back of that head. You're going to slowly squat down for me to your full range. You're going to pause, and then you're going to come back up. And then do that 2 more times for me. Pause, come back up, and 1 more time. And back up we come. Good, and control down and rest. Shoulders will be nice and fatigued now. That's not a bad start for the overhead squat. What we would do that is we would, from there, start loading up the overhead squat and the behind the neck pressing that he was doing as well at the start. Build up a good base through that, and then we would start looking at sort of the pull position from above the knee, from the hip, to sort of translate that through. What we're going to do now is teach Caelan what actually a snatch grip is and how he should be holding a barbell as well. So if you pick up the barbell for me, Caelan, just normally, so shoulder width grip, that's fine. So to perform a snatch, we need to have a grip that's going to allow us to eventually pull the bar from ground to above head in one motion, because that's technically what a snatch is. So as you can see here, this is a bit too narrow of a snatch grip for us. So the easiest way to figure it out for a beginner, you can get quite technical with it when you get a little bit more into it. But to start with, what I'm going to get him to do is go into a grip that's wide enough that it just sits into his hip crease for us. So you go nice and wide with your grip till that barbell is sort of sitting into your hip crease. Yep, perfect. So the reason we get it this wide basically is for when he eventually finishes his pulls, we want to get some slight contact with the hip to help to propel the bar up slightly. With a clean, if you go into a narrower grip for me, well, we're going to get the bit of a thigh contact rather than hip contact. We'd have obviously a narrower grip, so you can see the wider the grip, the higher the barbell will actually come up. So go back into your snatch grip for me. Another important thing to learn basically when you start to do weightlifting as well is grip. It feels very uncomfortable to start with, but it's something you're just going to have to get used to, and it's the strongest grip that you can have on a barbell without using wraps or straps or anything like that, and it's called the hook grip. So the hook grip is basically, if we have our hand on a barbell, we put our thumb under our fingers and hold onto it like that, rather than your standard grip. Hook grip, thumb under, fingers over, and that creates a much stronger pulling grip for us. So you're going to be holding the barbell in that hook grip for us, Caelan. Good. So that's a good starting setup for his grip, and for when we want to progress into some pull work. Okay, so next stage for Caelan would be we want to learn how to pull, basically, okay? So with weightlifting, with a lot of things basically in the sagittal plane, is we want the barbell to stay in a nice vertical force. We want to minimize any sort of horizontal forces there is. So we need to teach him how to pull the bar straight and how to do it most efficiently. Okay, so our legs are arguably the biggest muscle group in our body. So we want him to purely focus on using that extension through the legs to help propel the bar up. All the pulls and the upper body stuff can come later on. A lot of people just do that automatically anyway, so we don't need to put too much of an emphasis on that. So what I'm going to get you to do is we're going to pick up the barbell in our snatch grip. And then we're just going to teach him quickly what a power stance is. There's so many different things to sort of touch on. So a power stance is basically going to be when his feet are under his shoulders, quite narrow compared to what your squat stance, or for most people what a squat stance would be. And this just means, like a deadlift, it's a much stronger pulling position than if we were wide with our feet to start with. So what we're going to do is feet under the shoulders, toes facing slightly out for me, and then we're just going to be nice and soft in the knees and the hips, okay? And what this is going to do is, another important point is it's going to create and allow the shoulders to be slightly in front of that barbell to help promote a much fuller, longer pull to create obviously more power and strength through that movement. All we're going to do from here, Caelan, is I want you to extend your legs and basically keep your arms straight for now and just triple extend and jump. Good. Do 3 more for us. Good. All right. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to allow the barbell to travel up a little bit higher. If we're doing a full snatch, so there are 2 variations. We're teaching Caelan here the full squat snatch, not the power snatch. We want to be able to propel the bar up to an apex of around, I say a good point is sort of the bottom of that sternum. If you can pull the bar up to the bottom of that sternum, you've got plenty of room and time to get under that barbell and catch it nice and efficiently. So what we're going to do now is basically from the hip, we're just going to hinge slightly, pull, jump, and as we create that power with the bar, you're just going to allow it to come up with your arms to that sort of touching point there for us, okay? So power stance for us, nice and soft in the knees and the hips, looking forwards, pull, that's it. So just a bit more extension through the hip and allow that barbell to come up in a nice straight line for us. That's it. One more, allow the bar to come a little bit higher. It's better, one more, bar higher. Very good, and relax, down we go. Yep, so the next stage we would do is obviously link the short pull and the transition and the catch together now. So we've been working on this for a little bit now, and what we want him to do is basically get under the bar and catch it. So this is where we need to teach the athlete as well to the ability to jump, but jump down rather than jump up. So obviously speed under the bar is crucial here. So what we're going to do is basically you're going to get the barbell, you're going to do that pull we've worked on, and then what I want you to do is jump down. Once we've reached triple extension, jump down, under, and catch the bar into that bottom of the overhead squat that we've been working on. Okay, so let's have a go. Obviously here he's going to be keeping his shoulders in front of the bar for as long as he can. Keeping the bar nice and close to the body. Slight hip contact, jump down and catch. Let's do 2 more for me, Caelan. That's it, let's just try and keep the bar a little bit closer in this last one. Much better. And down we go and relax. Okay, so that's some basic things we would go through with a beginner when they walk through our doors. Obviously, depending on the way we go with things would be based on that individual's limitations at the start, so that's why we'd always run an initial consultation and a movement screen beforehand, as well as get an idea of the individual's background, and then we can personalise and construct a beginner's sort of program for that individual.